and the privilege to invite the chairperson of the Eco Trust to come and open the ceremony. But as he comes, I hope you enjoyed the exhibits. I hope you are able to speak with the farmers, the landscape coordinators, without preempting what the chairperson of the board is going to say. I would like to invite you to come and take your stand, Mr. Kapalaga. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you all. Especially our valued stakeholders out in the field, the farmers that constitute the communities that we work with. I would also like to recognize the presence, the attendance, the commitment of members of the Board of Trustees of Eco Trust, past and present. And can I kindly request them to stand up and wave to the audience. Members of the board, as Dr. Gerard is a current Board of Trustee member, Rachel Loy, current trustee member, Ian Fisher, past chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Ajay Sara, senior counsel of Vega, past chairperson, Robert Nawanyumya, who handed the baton to me. You're most welcome. Madam Pauline Nantongo, Secretary of the Board. I would also like to recognize the presence of representatives of the government, led by Assistant Commissioner from the Ministry of Water and Environment, Mr. Issa. I also want to recognize the presence of our very valued development partners in the audience. From IUCN, from Danish Church Aid, and other people that support our endeavors. Once again, I want to welcome our people from the landscapes working, people from the Rwenzori landscape, people from Queen Elizabeth, people from Action, as well as from Mount Elgon landscape. Thank you very much for taking your time off to come and join us in this annual event, our annual stakeholders event, which is meant to help us provide feedback as Eco Trust to you and all our partners. How much we have done, how much we have gone. You will all recall that 2 years ago, about this time, we launched our current 5-year strategic plan. 2 years are now gone. I'm sure during your stay here, during the exhibitions, we were able to recognize how far we have gone in terms of implementing the stakeholder, strategic plan, as well as our programs. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're all aware, Eco Trust is a conservation financing organization established in 1999 to champion and promote environmental conservation. Eco Trust was born out of a program that was funded by USAID, and out of the zeal, out of the need to ensure that our endeavors are sustained, Eco Trust was born. It is a fully registered, not-for-profit organization. We also have our registration as a trust through the ministry responsible for lands in this country. What we do is that we raise, we lobby, we engage stakeholders, government partners, we sell programs to them and get funding that we pass on to the communities that we work with in the form of grants. We also do what is called green business incubation. Through our technical staff in the field, we engage the communities we work with to go beyond the glass conservation that they do through growing trees for global benefit. And as we'll be learning later on, most of the groups, if not all of them, actually have micro enterprises through which they are able to generate resources to help them sustain. And recently on a tour in Yimbale, we learned that actually other programs that we all know, like PDM, Myoga, and others, the implementers always find the groups that we work with very suitable, competent, and actually most of them are absorbed into those programs, and their performance is excellent. Through our efforts again, these groups actually have helped promote financial inclusion in the sense that the resources that they are paid for the carbon sequestrated by the trees they grow are channeled through circles, and again all the groups that we work with actually either have their own circles or they are affiliated to big circles. EcoTrust, through our activities, we support, we hand-hold farmers to engage in activities that promote environmental conservation through payment for environmental services. And as I mentioned earlier, the trees they grow sequestrate carbon, and it's one of the reasons that we're here today. Whereas the world is waking up to see the need to get engaged, whereas we have a lot of cowboys and cowgirls in town looking for potential partners. More than 20 years ago, EcoTrust, dropped this idea, was able to engage with the local farmers, and some of our pioneer farmers with us here, and I would like to thank them very much for the patience, the resilience that have exhibited over the years. In terms of programming, EcoTrust also is involved has a land trust program. We hold land in trust for conservation, but we also support communities to establish land trusts in the Murchison Falls landscape. In particular, we have a number of parcels of land that have been, set aside, and actually the communities were able to register with our support some of the first community land associations as provided. They form community land associations, but they also have land that they manage in the form of community forests registered well under the Ministry of Water and Environment. This event today is not only about providing feedback. Again, as you may have learned, 20 years ago, EcoTrust ventured into the unknown. We were able to work with partners, Plan Vivo, to develop a methodology whereby farmers can grow trees as separate carbon, and the carbon credits are able to be registered and sold to the voluntary carbon market. So this is a very important landmark for us. I know very soon we'll be celebrating 25 years of EcoTrust's existence, but in terms of programming and given the fact that, over the last many years now, this program is the real anchor. It takes up more than 70% of the time for EcoTrust. We do other things, but definitely the Trees for Global Benefits program is the anchor of the existence of EcoTrust. Through the Trees for Global Benefits program, EcoTrust has been able to support, to train, and really ensure that farmers, more than 50,000 smallholder farmers, are recruited into the program, and in the process, more than 16 million trees have been grown over the 20 years period, and that translates to about 40,000 hectares covered with the trees. I can share with you that recently, in my personal capacity, I was engaged with our colleagues in Kenya. And actually, I cannot even tell you the area, forest, planted tree areas that they have. It is a very, very small fraction of this total area. So can I request you to give a big clap to these farmers? Again, as I alluded to, EcoTrust has provided a platform through which small actions, the 80 trees that a farmer plants on his, as well as those that have planted 1,000, trees, we've been able to help aggregate and in the process come up with a program, with a project where we're able to sell carbon credits. And when the credits are sold, EcoTrust ensures that 60%, 6 out of the $10 that is paid for carbon credits is actually received by the farmers. But even the $4 that EcoTrust keeps for administrative and other purposes, we've been able to establish a better globe through environmental conservation. Let me once again thank all of you for honoring our invitation, and thank the farmers and their representative here once again, and assure them that EcoTrust will continue innovating, working with you in order to ensure that you can help transform the lives of the local people while you help conserve the environment. I thank you very much and wish you a good afternoon. Thank you.
Basically, Mr. Kapalaga has been explaining our model, a model that is based on a triple bottom line. Every investment that we make generates biodiversity conservation, livelihood, as well as climate change mitigation and adaptation benefits. They are summarized in that, the strategies and everything that... So today is a stakeholders event where we recognize the journey that we have made to make at least 20 years of Trees for Global Benefit. Trees for Global Benefit is a smallholder owned, managed, implemented reforestation program that is anchored within the climate change policy, plus very many other policies. But the climate change policy in particular recognizes the role of our communities, but also recommends the community-based bottom-up approaches, especially to adaptation. So for us as Andama from Masindi, or Wilson, from Mirizi. When we are going about our business, we are going about it because we are at risk to climate change. We put these trees on our farm so that our farms can be resilient to climate change. But in order to do this, we have had a lot of support. First and foremost, the government of Uganda. This project was actually created as an experiment that was channeled through the Forest Sector Support Department to test if it is possible for a smallholder farmer far deep in Bushenyi those days can actually understand the rules of the game and access the market. So you will hear from the pioneer farmer leaders later on, because you keep the best for last. But for now, we are going to be hearing from the different partners that have made it possible. We have collaborated with very many civil society organizations, especially international NGOs, to be able to access the funding that prepares Helen, Aine, and other people that I see in this room, to be able to access these markets. But even when we have received donor support, we still need the people that will buy the carbon, and we mainly access them through brokers. But still, our standards are validated by a carbon standard, which is Plan Vivo, and we have many service providers that enable us to get there. And many of you are wondering, how does this carbon offsetting work? This is our main supporter. Most of the farmers in this room have received their carbon payments from a burger house in Sweden. I think, Beatrice, you've ever had a burger in that restaurant. And in this restaurant, every burger has a footprint of how much carbon emissions were attached to creating that burger. So the people that eat those burgers are able to pay for their emission. But Max doesn't stop on just measuring their emissions, but they also invest in initiatives to make sure that they also have a lower footprint. I think one of the restaurants we had our meals, Beatrice, was solar powered. Like the roof had been made of solar panels and everything in the house is. So we offset our emissions, or we get our financing from very responsible citizens, some as corporations, some as institutions, and even sometimes as individuals. And in Max Burgers, they even provide you with options of the least footprint burger, so you can make a conscious decision. Do I go for the high carbon impact burger or so those are the kind of people where we collect money from to deliver to the smallholders that we work with. We also have some brokers that enable us to get to those buyers. Where we sit as EcoTrust, we are unable to tell a responsible buyer, but we invest our efforts in identifying brokers whose hearts and heads are in the right places, so that they can link us to those buyers. This gentleman here is actually online, or the last time I checked, he's online. So every time we get a new buyer, we send out to him to be able to help us do due diligence. Darren, thank you. This is also another, My Climate is another broker that we have. And you can see some staff members of EcoTrust receiving one of the buyers. This is one of the main, I don't know much about football, but some of you who know about the football in German, you probably know that is one of the Super League, whatever the leagues are called in German. So this is one of so that football club actually offsets their footprint through our program. And in Mount Elgon, we have a program where some of the exporters that export coffee from there also conduct a footprint of what it takes to produce coffee. And on the shelves, wherever they sell their coffee, they put a marker to be able to bring the money down to Mount Elgon. So that is what they call a voluntary bucket. People that are in this because they would like to be good citizens, not because the law says so, but because they would like to be good citizens. And this is the whole collection of all of them as we have them out there.
Animals, insects, and plants that are the foundation of our existence. So it's very proud. Of course, we are working through the winter at IUCN Netherlands Committee. We're working with people like you that are part of the EcoTrust Uganda family, so to say. And we're very proud that we can be part of programs such as especially mobilizing collaboration with Beehive Limited, but also the projects that strengthen and introduce fish farming, tree nurseries, restoration of forests and ecosystems, and that we have to reach to restore and protect nature, because in so many areas things are not going in the right direction, and it's only with this collaboration with the government, with the communities at the center, but also with the private sector. It's the only way that we can reach the amount of land, the amount of areas in nature that can be restored, sustainably managed and protected. And so thanks a lot for being able to be part of EcoTrust, to be able to be partner as IUCN, to be partner of EcoTrust Uganda, and work together with all of you on a better nature, a better planet for all of us together, collectively. So very well wishes. I wish everyone a good holiday season, and looking forward to strengthen our work in the coming months. And also here in this rather empty and cold and wet landscape, nature will come back next spring, and proud to be part of also protecting nature far away from home in Uganda. Thanks a lot, and see you soon.
My name is Kitja Musa. I work as the lead on our program at PCA Memory Unit in PCA headquarters in Copenhagen. PCA is a 100-year-old organization based in Denmark with country offices in 20 countries, including Uganda, where we have good staff and partners that have been engaged over many years. We began our collaboration with EcoTrust a few years back. We have engaged with the Trees for Global Benefits program. Even though we are only a few years old into our collaboration, we know and can see that this has been very evident in our resources through different programs in Koiman and Kubale with EcoTrust staff. Last year, one of the climate justice in general, even though we know that climate change targets are being set, more action is definitely needed, and we are particularly concerned with the lack of commitment to climate adaptation and doubling climate adaptation finance that is new and additional. We therefore believe that we need communities at the front of climate change work to be better represented, and here the Trees for Global Benefits program represents exactly that. Last year we were happy to welcome Ms. Antonko to Denmark. She came to visit Copenhagen, DCA's partners, our head office here, and also stakeholders. This was also the occasion where we launched the initiative that DCA has taken as one of the few NGOs in the world, we believe. We have taken the historic responsibility of 100 years of emissions as an organization, and communities. And it also serves as a program that activates food systems transformation through healthy ecosystems, and that is key to transformation.
I don't know if you heard very well what she said. They started their interaction with EcoTrust, broadly speaking, Once they understood the business model of Trees for Global Benefit, they decided they've been in existence for 100 years. They did not just calculate their current footprint or their annual footprint, but they went back through all the 100 years of their existence and decided they are going to offset everything, and everything was going to be through Trees for Global Benefit. So there is no bigger stamp of approval for someone to stake their 100-year experience and offset it through you. So I think we need to clap for the farmers for Trees for Global Benefit. I would like now to switch back to the line here by handing over the mic to Commissioner Issa Katwesije to also have his 2 cents about Trees for Global Benefit. Issa, over to you.
Thank you, Pauline, and thank you, everybody. Good afternoon. I want to observe protocol, starting with the chairman of the EcoTrust board, and then, of course, Pauline, and the ED and your staff, and sector stakeholders, including the private sector. I think I've seen a number of those. Development partners, civil society, as well as our employers in the room, the farmers. So I bring greetings from the Ministry of Water and Environment. Of course, as I talk of stakeholders, while I look into the audience, I can see some of my senior colleagues, as well as my teachers. While I speak and earn from forestry, the people inside this room that have collectively made that possible. So I want to congratulate EcoTrust and the farmers on the 20-year milestone for the Trees for Global Benefit. And as Pauline had earlier mentioned, this was more of a guinea pig, a trial to see, to make sense out of the carbon mystery. And I want to thank you for bringing that carbon story to life. Of course, it's just until COP26 that actually the general public or the international community picked interest in carbon markets and carbon trade. But before that, it was non-committal, it remained elusive for both the technical and the common man. And until now, of course, it's still a continuous progress. It's studying, it continues to evolve. But at least now we have an idea of what is possible. And on that note, I really thank the farmers for keeping the faith. Because truth be told, carbon, it's only people like us, the people within the working community that think carbon is get rich quick scheme, but it's not. It comes with a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of trade-offs, because it's a commitment. But just like any other enterprise, it's also a source of household income, if you so wish. So while we've had the 20 years of Trees for Global Benefits, and as we learn from the experience over that period, of course, a lot has been informed by the experiences of this pilot. Of course, it was a pilot for some time, but after 20 years, I don't think it still qualifies as a pilot. Because having moved beyond, from across the borders, from Rwenzori to Elgon, and you're not seeing any kind of abscondment, like people dropping off. It means that the faith and the commitment is building. But during that period, of course, we had the Uganda Forestry Policy designed in early 2000s, ideally in 2001, and then the law that followed in 2003, there was little mention of carbon or aspects of climate change, and but then along the way, a lot of policy and legal framework that has been developed has been informed by the experience of this particular trade. We've done a number of plans for the Albertine Rift. We did also the National Forest Plan, which was initially up to the year 2011, and then again from 2012 to last year. We've revised the policy that is due for gazettement soon. But ideally, you look at where we started from, there was little mention of these emerging issues. But it's this experience that informed and necessitated the need to revise the policy and also amend the law to incorporate the new developments. And I think we've done so well. And I take the opportunity to thank the team, among other stakeholders, for really being generous with information. Because sometimes, especially when it's a partnership with civil society or non-government players, at the moment the contracts are signed, then there is a big wall built in between, because sometimes stakeholders don't want to be accountable. But I really thank the team of EcoTrust for having maintained the trust. And on our part as government, of course, we continue to commit to supporting all innovation in that line or in whatever aspects. So, from what we've learned as well, we've had, of course, the latest developments in terms of trade. There is still a lot of mistrust between the developing world and the developed societies, whereby a lot of suspicion of one side taking advantage of the other. But I think as we move on, what we can pick from our experience in this room is that, yes, this program had a lot of farm empowerment that actually, whereas there will be that suspicion of maybe exploitation, but at least what we see from the different farmer groups, maybe as we'll hear from what we've interacted with, that yes, people are really empowered, they know what they want, and of course, the most sustainable way to maintaining the environment and confronting the challenge that stands before us, which is the climate change. I think it still comes down to self-regulation, to community empowerment, building that critical mass that will defend the environment, that will defend the trees. And as we know it, as we've been moving, of course, no amount of policing can address environmental degradation, but it has to be inherent within the people to know exactly what they want. And the other aspect was on empowerment in terms of understanding the farmers' power on land, like knowing that the issue of land tenure is key in terms of making decisions on your land. And I think there is a lot that we can pick from this experience. And at the same time, the issue of forest management planning, of course, there is always a challenge, and there's been a challenge that farmers or even individuals, irrespective of where they work or the amount of the level of education, that there is that guilt that comes with harvesting trees, cutting them down, and but as far as we are concerned, trees are a renewable resource. So it speaks a lot to your management objective as a farmer. If your management objective is to maintain land under forestry, even if it's under plantation and being harvested periodically, that is okay, because that's what brings the return on investment. But then also, as the trees get harvested, as they grow, there are all those ecosystem services that they provide as they continue. So it's very important that, yes, the issue of forest management planning, for someone to know the management objective and not to be defensive
when they are harvesting their own tree, I think is very important, and it's a lot that we learn from this. But of course, we also look at the aspect of enterprises mix. That yes, whereas we have opportunities for the nature-based solutions coming out of these programs, but at the same time, yes, we also need to be mindful of the fact that we need to live as a people. We need to survive as human beings, and whichever way makes us sustainable as we do that, I think it's very welcome, and that's what some of these interventions are about. So as I look at the last 20 years of trees for global benefits and looking at the next 20 years, I would imagine that yes, as a country, we've done a number of development frameworks, we've made commitments to the global community, but then also to ourselves as a country. And as we can all see that from the exhibition, that most of the interventions are actually rural. But as we look at it, by the year 2050, the projection is that about 75% of the global population will be living in urban centers, in towns. It's not like people will be migrating to town, but it's the towns actually going to the villages. So it's important that we embrace that transition as it happens, and probably maybe the next 20 years of Trees for Global Benefits looks at how to embrace turning the neighborhoods that are brown into green, like we see it, because a green neighborhood is an issue of social equity, it's an issue of social inclusion. It's not just the affluent neighborhoods that deserve a green and peaceful environment. I'm sure everyone would wish to wake up to the sound of birds or the sight of those beautiful butterflies. So it's important. We have in place, we conducted a restoration opportunities assessment program for the country. We drew a plan as a country where we looked at the degraded forest landscapes and made a commitment to the Bond Challenge, and it was done by His Excellency the President to action for everyone to at least do one tree, plant one tree, and maintain it every year, and that way we'll see the brown neighborhoods turning green, and people also looking at trees not for the commercial aspect, but for the ecosystem functions that those trees perform. So I want to conclude by calling all of us in the room not to send the burden of conservation to the villages, but also take it upon ourselves to do the same, and do it in our backyard, do it in the compound, at the church, at the school where the kids go, anywhere, because that is the only way we'll be able to survive. We don't have to convert and put all that burden into the protected areas of government, because as humans, you're supposed to wake up to at least the sight of 3 trees when you're inside your own house. So I want to thank the EcoTrust team and everyone in the room for maintaining the pace, the faith, and then also looking forward to the issues that have been and improving on the areas of benefit sharing for both the tangible and non-tangible benefits from the trees that we've planted for ourselves and the ones that we've inherited from our forefathers. I thank you for God and my country.
Thank you, Assistant Commissioner, for those remarks. The last speaker for this segment, before we go to the farmers, is a staff member. Winnie, where are you? Winnie is representing a story of most of the staff members of EcoTrust. As Winnie approaches, I just want to mention also that we have three former chairpersons of EcoTrust in the room and one other one online. We have Dr. Robert Nabanyumya, who handed over to Mr. Kampalada. We have Mr. J.R. Kamugisha, who handed over to, we used to call him Nabs, Dr. Nabanyumya. And then we have Councillor Sarah Vega, who handed over to J.R. And then we have Banta Kasuma Online who handed over. So we have a history of transition, and then we also don't make enemies of our former friends. Over to you, Winnie Wenshi.
Thank you, Pauline. The Board of Trustees, all invited guests, my fellow farmers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm called Winifred Namuria, a very proud TGB farmer. I think I'm one of the people who has benefited from TGB ever since I joined. I joined in 2011. By then I was a primary teacher, and I planted 1,000 trees on our family land. It was not an easy decision to take because I was among the second group of farmers that joined in the district. I took up the decision, I planted the trees. Just after then, I felt I should mobilize other farmers to join the project. In the same sub-count, I planted the trees in Karusandara, that is in Kasese district. I was able to mobilize 66 farmers, and those farmers elected me as their farmer leader. From there, I thought of an opportunity of raising tree seedlings, because it is from the tree seedlings the farmers have to get the seedlings to plant. I started up a nursery bed, and I made some money. Then I continued. EcoTrust took me up as a volunteer. I worked for some time. I upgraded my intern. I went to a program assistant, and I'm now a landscape coordinator, managing a landscape with over 30,000 farmers. In the same landscape, I have gone ahead to train other people. We have 12 nursery operators, and those 12 nursery operators get over 600 million shillings every year. In that same landscape, we have been able to have financial institutions. We have 7 financial institutions, and our farmers get their payments from those institutions. And I managed to have started one of the institutions which has gone ahead to open up 10 branches, and that is Munguku Integrated Farmers. But all this has been possible because of the passion I have for the project and the zeal. I always want people to do exactly what I do. So when the farmers realize that I was a farmer, and I am a farmer, they join with a lot of confidence, knowing that the person who's leading us is also practicing what she's telling us to do. With this project, much as I'm now the landscape coordinator, I have my trees, and I'm not scared of retirement because I know I have a starting point. At 25 years, my trees will be ready for harvesting. They are now 10 years. I mean, even I know I will harvest not less than 100 million shillings because I have indigenous trees and they're as big as 17 dBs right now. Yes. Yeah, that is my story. Thank you very much for this.
Already, the farmers are here. So yes, the story of Winnie is the story of Innocent, it is the story of Procy, it is the story of Johnson, it is the story of Vincent, it is the story of the majority of the staff members that work for EcoTrust. We are an organization that they call 100% local content. The organization is headed, the entire board of trustees, by Ugandans. The secretariat, management, 100% Ugandans, but Ugandans with international experience. And I think that through my presentations and my being MC, You can see that EcoTrust is headed by cream la cream of Ugandans. I see former chair laughing. But yes, so we are able, as Ugandans, to generate a crop of people that are able to manage an organization such as EcoTrust.
My name is Olev Helen. I'm going to present our vision or dream for Masizon landscape. Yes, let me have my treasure to go through what is ABCD about our landscape.
Yes, thank you, Madam Helen. My name is Amaya Richard. I'm the treasurer of both CLA, and also today I'm here to present to you the Malden Highway for Machizon landscape. So she said she has a problem with her English, but I'm just here to simplify on her English. Thank you. So this is our Malden Highway for Machizon landscape. We made the Malden Highway on the day of 10th June 2023. And these two symbols here of the two trees, Budongo Forest and Bugoma Forest. So we are aiming at doing connecting the two forests so that we see chimpanzees from Budongo, Bufrile from Budongo to Bugoma. So this is where we want to move to. One, we want to see that all our forests are restored. They come back where they were before. At least we see that all the forest corridors are restored and the connectivities are established. This one we shall do by planting over 50,000 hectares of trees together with EcoTrust. We want to do the restoration of the wetlands. We also not only doing the other restoration part, but we also want to see each homestead having trees. We also want to see that our community is done using the three stones. We also want to see all the animals, the chimpanzees, the bird species, come back to their forests. Because during the degradation time, these animals all ran away. So we want to see this, because when these animals come back, we shall be able to establish some points where we shall be receiving visitors to come and see the animals. Also do sensitization on how to live harmoniously with the animals. And also the wetland groups, at least all these groups to be having green business. For example, apiary, fish farming. We also want to see people riding motorcycles, riding vehicles, and these vehicles, when these things are improved, they are able to transport their food crops which they have grown to the nearest markets. We also want to see that the community members, they are rearing improved breeds of animals. One of the things which will help us on this is that when these people are rearing these animals, they are able to get meat from what they are rearing, other than going to hunt them in the forest, the wildlife. We also, from microfinance institutions, to support them in their developments. Here, we are also looking at seeing that at household level and youth getting involved in the land access. This one will help them so that when they want to plant trees, they are able to get land where they can plant these trees. But formerly, it was not like that. Now, there is where we are currently here. We're having the greatest support from government. When you look at these 10 CLOs operating in the Machizon landscape, government does not leave them alone. District Forest Officer is there. Community Development Officer is there to help them. Local leaders, they are there every once, they keep helping them. We also have one of the greatest supports, the EcoTrust. EcoTrust, which is giving us sensitization, supports us with funds, on TGP carbon funds. EcoTrust is there. We are also having the support from the community. We are having the CLS, we are having the CFMs, we are having the individual farmers, we are having the farmer leaders. This all will help us to achieve our goal. We are also having the support from the institutions. We have the churches where we go and we spread the gospel of conservation. We have the schools where we keep training people, community members on how to plant trees and how to live well in their families. We also have the support from other NGOs like Kodeka in Masindi, like Fauna and Flora International. Those ones help us also. JGI, they help us in order that we restore all these corridors, we plant trees. We are also having the greatest support of the land. If land is not there, where shall we plant these trees? We have land from the CLOS, we have land from individual farmers, we have land from the wetlands. But although we have the opportunities, there are also challenges which are hindering the progress. One of the challenges we have is pests and diseases. Every year we keep planting trees. There's infestation of pests which keep infesting those trees, and trees are dying because of those pests. We also do receive sunshine. Sunshine also plants other trees, which we plant the young seedlings. We are having the bushfires, especially during dry season. We are now going to dry season. Cattle keepers, some of them, they bring animals and then, because they are looking for pasture, they end up setting fire in some of those forests, hence burning some of the trees we have planted. We are also having the poor mindset of the community members. We talk of restoration, others keep talking of removing the tree seedlings out. Negative hearts of these people. They see patrolling in the forest, they think that they are fighting them not to get firewood. So we have that effect. We are also having the competition from other income generating activities or enterprises. For example, when you go the other side of Machizon, sugarcane now is taking over. So people just think of sugarcane, not even now planting trees. So we are having that competition. So there's also tea. We also have continuous encroachment on the forests. The maximum is here. Today, tomorrow you find it being removed, extended the other side, that it is someone's land. So we keep replacing this. So we are having that encroachment where people want to farm in those areas. We are also having the community members who are still setting snare wires, hunting these wild animals, which are trying to come back. So those are some of the challenges we are facing. In order to achieve this, there are milestones. By 2024, as Machizon landscape, we want at least to plant over 20,000 hectares of trees. We also want to see that all the community members are trained on tree planting, on human wildlife mitigation strategies, and others. We also want to see community members being trained on gender action learning systems, so that we at least live at the same level. We also want at least those 10 TGB groups, the 10 CLOS, and also TGB groups. We have the CFM, CLOS, we have the wetland groups, all those ones will be having green businesses. Of course, the activities which we shall keep continuously doing in order to reach our vision 2021. Especially, we shall be having continuous patrols. Most of these CLA groups have patrol teams who keep patrolling these forests, who keep checking on the areas where we are doing restoration so that we are not taken off-site. We are having also continuous mobilization of community members on conservation. We keep mobilizing them to join the carbon group. We also want at least our community members to be given, or we shall distribute, we want to distribute over 5,000 energy saving stoves, so that we still reduce on the fuel wood we are using. We also want to see more members planting trees around their areas, in their gardens, and also in the forest areas. We also want to empower the saving groups, so that when they empower, they keep training them, they can develop, they can train the others of the circle. We also want to encourage community members to join other government programs like PDMs and EMIOGA, so that their livelihoods are improved. So we want also, lastly, to continuously do gender action learning training to our community members. I think that's what we were able to present to you as Artisan Landscape. Thank you for listening.
I'm Kimera William from Rwenzori and Deep from Chondo Sub-County in Kasese District. I'm coming here to present value change map for Rwenzori landscape for coffee, which was made on 13th December 2023. And this symbol you see here is the Rwenzori landscape. And before I go very far, in Rwenzori we have got 12 nursery beds. You are picking up your garden. Then we have fire control. As you all know, you may be having a garden here, neighboring bushes, some kind of. So when these people want to and cows want to get pasture for the animals, then they practice bush burning, so that the grass should be very young for the animals to feed on. So you keep on monitoring so that those fires should not burn off your, and the others you cut them. It's what we call stamping, so that they are young again. Then there is pest and disease control. These are the activities that are supposed to be done in a field in order to have it very well and everything. Then from there we have what we call processing. Then in processing we have the picking and the floating. After picking the ready chain, then you have floating in order to get the best quality from the poor, and the poor one or the bad ones floats. Then you remove them and put them aside, and the best quality which will give you the quality that will be needed by most people outside Ghana. Then having floated this, there is what we call pumping, removing the husks to get something. As the madam said, that we are getting over 600 million seedlings from nursery babies. So that is the business now being made in the eco-trust and the farmers. Now we have got what we call the buyers. These buyers are the people who buys the product from these people or from the circles. Now, for them also to make business or to make profits, meanwhile these people are also making profits. So it is vice versa. Then we have got circles. These circles act as a supporting tool to farmers in so many ways. First of all, by giving loans to the farmers and mobilizing resources from donors like our good eco-trust. As I speak now, for me, I'm from KBT Sako in Charumba, Kasai district. Eco-trust gave us 25 million cedis, which 25 million cedis have supported us so much in achieving very many things. When we calculated, we got a lot of profit simply because eco-trust supported us with the 25 million, which supported what we had, and we are beginning now to move freely because liquidity is becoming good. So this one also assists. Then we have got what we call government. Our good government has supported us with the rules and regulations, which regulates the flow of money and giving us security during the season and at our stores. Then we have got what we call transporters. These people have played a very important role because as I speak now, from our circle, we had over 70 tons of coffee that we are selling to the buyers every time. So you cannot carry those 7 tons on your head. You have to use vehicles. That's why I say transporters are also very important stakeholders in this situation. Then we have got also the farmers now. These people have supported very much in a way that without their produce, nothing can be done. So because they are there, that's why all these are being done. So they're also very important stakeholders. Then you have got also the brokers. These brokers, at least the circles have tried so much that they want these people to be wiped out, simply because these people are engineering thieves to steal farmers' products at night and when they are not there. So these circles have worked very hard to give loans to their farmers or to their members so that they should not go to them and the money lenders. As you know, the pressure the money lenders puts on their clients is very, very bad. So at least these people, if circles are trying to minimize them by giving loans to their farmers. Now all these are being done by both females and males. And the percentages you see here are rated according to the gender. And these ones also participate, others equally and others not equally. So the key here you see, the F stands for female, the M stands for male, this one stands for government, and this one stands for landscape, and this one stands for percentage. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we prepare as a Rwenzori landscape.
Thank you very much, Rwenzori landscape. Rwenzori landscape was meant or has demonstrated that trees are not a standalone, but trees are part of the value chain, as opposed to trees out competing other land uses. Trees come and complement the existing land use. So, and the samples that he mentioned have all been created and capitalized with the carbon finance. So because farmers needed a place to receive their money, they were able to create these circles. Valerie, I hope you are coming to the stage. Winnie, I'm sorry, Judith, I don't see you. So these circles were created for farmers to be able to receive their money. But also the farm, what he didn't say, or I don't know, I don't remember him hearing it, the reason they are able to access financing from the circle is because they use their future cash flows from the carbon agreement as collateral for loans. So they don't need to go to the money lenders anymore because they have a form of collateral where they can access financing from formal farmer-owned institutions. So 5-10 minutes, and then we get a break, and then we get the final segment.
District. This tool was introduced by EcoTrust, and without EcoTrust, we would not be sharing this tool. Briefly, Elgon region is one of the regions participating in EcoTrust, but it has some uniqueness. For instance, Elgon region has farmers with small land holdings, and with that, will be recruited in groups and to plant trees incorporated with the other crops that are helping them to generate income, and indeed it is working. Also, when EcoTrust started paying farmers some gender balance, meaning gender-based violence emerged, and because those gender-based violence emerged, this tool came to mitigate such. Because sharing of money looked to be a problem, and also sharing of land used to be a problem. I want to make you all aware that in Massawa land, men owned the land 100% before EcoTrust. And if we wanted to talk about anything, if we wanted to be chased out from somewhere, we would say man should share land with a woman. But we should appreciate so much the endeavors of EcoTrust, because it has managed to transform those men in the Elgon region. Because for them, after circumcision, someone tells them land is yours and no one is above you. So they could not allow women to utilize the land independently. But because of EcoTrust, whatever induction trainings and what have you, currently men are working together with the women to develop their land, to share the benefits, to share all the resources, which is very good. Here, this gender balance tree was developed to ensure that what was presented in the first tool by our friend from Maxon Landscape is implemented also. Because families sit together and plan, groups sit together and plan. Now here you find that this gender balance tree is now helping the families to ensure that men and women are identifying what they are doing and identifying how they are spending their money when they get it. Here this track is showing men and women, representing a man and a woman, but it's representing all men and women in the Elgon region. Down here, we have the activities that are carried out by men and women. The first lady here is showing activities carried out by men, but these activities are generating incomes to their family. And when we look here, we find that men in the Elgon region, they participate in coffee growing, establishment of nursery beds, both coffee and tree seedlings. Men also participate in the EcoTrust to work as farmer coordinators, mobilizers, and what have you. They participate in the trading of coffee. They participate in the planting of trees, participate in the beekeeping, also participate in the establishment of control banks. They also participate in working, thank you. They also participate in working, They also participate in working in circles represented by C-Lighter Head Association Circle. Men participate, and when they work there, at least they earn a living. Some men in the Elgon region also work as civil servants, teachers, doctors, and what have you. All these activities bring incomes in their families. These activities are carried out by men in Elgon region, but was there to show transparency in families. It has helped us even to identify some of the assets that have been hidden aside. The assets hidden. When there is freedom here and transparency, women and men are able to reveal their secrets to each other.
The very first farmer, the very first pioneer farmer leader who is making the very final presentation that we are receiving today from the farmer segment. That's why I had to ask you to dance to welcome her to the stage. So over to you, Beatrice.
Thank you very much. Farmer of the Trees for Global Benefit, which I started planting in 2003. Now before you, let me...
We planted many trees so far. Now from the 33 farmers which we are now approximately 5,000 farmers in the regional landscape of Queen Elizabeth. And all these people have got big trees. You have seen success stories, you have seen pictures. We have big trees. If you can still look around, the trees have really grown. And the trees which we are growing are the indigenous ones, not eucalyptus, not pine, the Mysopsis, the pictures. Even in our landing, there is now a new curriculum. And even in legal class, we have a new curriculum of learning by teaching using pictures, so that everybody, even if you don't know my language, you cannot go empty-handed, because at least you see a picture, you look at this one, you know it is what? An elephant. So we have had many trainings which are, so they can dress freely and they require, of course. One community fund for legal, which supported some schools, 3 primary schools, worked on. Still within the achievements, there is cooperation within families.
We use donor money to help us do community engagement, to help us do technical specification, and then we get buyers from private sector to buy the carbon, and then the money comes back. So the other pillar is blended financing. Community engagement is our biggest strength. You can see, we can sing fantastic, bombastic, and we can have vision road journeys. That is all community engagement, so that the community trusts our program and they give their land, because the land is voluntary land. So community engagement is our biggest pillar in this business. Private sector does not invest so much there, so we usually use donor money or even eco-trust money to invest in the community engagement phase, which we call the primary phase. We also use donor money to prepare the technical specs, and then are able to quantify or aggregate the carbon, and then are able to sell it to the external buyers. Our buyers are all mainly in Europe and America and everywhere all over the world. So we need to put the conservation initiative in some package that can be sold internationally. Those are what we call the tech specs. And so we use that. Once we have the tech specs, then the private sector comes in to buy. So that's the layer that we have, and then we're able to expand from Busheni to Mount Elgon, to wherever, without having to register the program again. We call that a program of activities. So what you have in that chart over there, you have 6 different pillars. Investment objective, blended financing, community engagement, technical specifications for aggregation, commercialization, and then scaling up across the country. That is a model we have now consolidated that will take us, in terms of carbon trade, it should take us strongly over the next 10 years. The other model we have is the trust funds. We have used the resources that we get to build an endowment fund, from which endowment fund we're able to do local investments and generate more resources to run the organization and to support operations. So the trust funds is also a model we are going to strengthen over the next 10 years. And we summarize it by the investment capital we get from the annual carbon sales, the indirect cost recovery from donor projects, and the net earnings from our annual investments. Those are capitalizing our endowment fund. So we are a solid organization. We don't just sell and buy, but we have also something tucked away that can run us for several years, even if we didn't sell any carbon. The other thing we are doing is, of course, resource mobilization. I was hired as a resource mobilization expert in my initial contract. Now I'm a business expert because I can do anything. So, but we have been raising resources from donors, balance, or to complement the TDB money. And this is our model. We triangulate resources with the various mechanisms of raising the resources, and then we mine the providers. We build partnerships with the providers. So in terms of financial resilience, what do we want to do over the next 10 years? The first thing we want to do is from the endowment fund, we want to pull out what we call a true endowment fund. Right now we have a fund that we can use a little bit, but we want to create one that we don't touch at all, which is in financial terms called the true endowment fund, so that we can buy carbon anytime, even if the donors, even if the market changes slightly. The other thing we want to introduce over, by 2026, we want to create a microfinance component as part of our financing, or as part of our grant making. We don't have microfinance yet, but we are still able to give out grants from our CCF. Kasese has received a bit of that, but we also want to see if we can create a microfinance facility within our granting platform. We also would like to see that because we have this dream that we can become international, we want to sustain a turnover, an annual turnover of around 6 million per year. If we can do that for 3 years, I think we are heading international. We are also setting up another business line beyond carbon, which we call biocredits. The ED talked about that. You know, when you plant trees, woodlots, you are looking for carbon or whatever, but you are creating a new habitat. Once you plant a woodlot around your house, the next thing is you're going to start hearing birds singing around your house. That is biodiversity that has come because you planted trees. We've been able to quantify the carbon, but we've not been able to quantify the biodiversity. But now we think if we quantify the change in biodiversity, we might be able to sell it as well and make more money on top of the carbon. So we sell carbon and we sell the bags, everything that is coming, and then that's more money over the 10 years. And of course, also ecotourism. We have parcels of land which we think we can convert into ecotourism. The other thing, business line, we want to think sustainable timber. By 2026, we are thinking we can sell timber which we harvest sustainably. Because with 30,000 farmers, if I say, give me pruners, everyone give me 10 trees or poles of pruners, or trees of pruners. With 30,000 farmers, I'll have 300 poles in one day. Because I know your names, I know where you are, I can collect the pruners. So we think that we have to build that business line as well. So that's the storyline around financial resilience. New business lines, microfinance, and a true endowment fund over the period. Now I'm going to portfolio growth. This slide here, these are the programs or partnerships we have right now. Almost 30 different projects or programs that we are involved in right now as an organization. So every day we are crazy. We are doing all those with all those partners. So, but we still want to grow that. We still want to grow that framework. And so we think that in terms of portfolio growth, over the next 3 to 5 years, we want to hire 3 new program managers. We want to split our program into biodiversity as one program, livelihoods as a separate program, and climate change as a separate program, so that we have 3 heads of program under, in order to grow the portfolio in that line.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting this award appreciation, Mr. Bushorozi, for your outstanding leadership, inspiring sustainable land use. Your dedication has made a lasting impact on the peaceful communities. Thank you for your vital role. Nancy Green Uganda. Next is Madame Beatrice Ahimsiwe. She has made a lasting impact on peaceful communities. Thank you for your vital role in advancing a green Uganda. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this damage check represents total transfers for 2023, the Mount Elgon Landscape to date. This is the landscape doing a wonderful job. Thank you so much, farmers of Mount Elgon. I hope that next year we can transfer things. $575,449,200. The action falls TDP farmers. I thank you for a job well done. transfer 1.298, 31,200 shillings to Queen Elizabeth Landscape up to today. And I'm sure this excludes the money 23, but I'm sure it excludes money under the fund. This damage check, indicates the total amount transferred to the Renzo Landscape for 2023 and 3,300,000,000 shillings. Thank you, Masinde. And cumulatively they have received 950 million, 326,800. Thank you. You need to pull up the group. For 756,407,200 shillings. Renzo Landscape has since 2004, they received 9,326,400 shillings. Thank you so much. God bless you.
At this point, we thought we would have finished much earlier, but anyway we are here. So we've come to the end of the ceremony, and now we are going to announce. Jonah is going to announce. But Jonah and his team are hosting us to a cocktail. So at the swimming pool area. So thank you very much for coming. Even some of you that have hung in there online, I think I still saw, especially the board members, they have waited up to the last time I checked. Dr. Panta Kasuma, Dr. Susie, Christine Laloko, Juliet Soke. Thank you very much for hanging in there up to